Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome. Here we are, once again, and probably, I'd say the final part. It does very much depend on when THG is going to be back, but we'll probably be able to finish it tonight. We have been taking our time with this turn, really, because of the fact that we can do so. So it's quite nice, at least we can really take a good look at the situation, really evaluate some of our options here, and make some ideally more informed decisions, which is always a good thing. Now, there's much to do here. Much to do. I suppose there is and there isn't. We have made some rather strategic changes. I suppose operational changes is probably the best way to describe it. For example, we have Baby Kidabutai, otherwise known as the Spicy Singapore Express, that is going to be making its way down towards this area. Now, what I've been considering here is taking what is effectively the 18th Division, obviously the forces of here. Sorry, is it the 18th or am I thinking of the 56th? Oh, right, I'm thinking of the 56th Division. Where's the 18th Division? I think the 18th Division's in Malaya, isn't it? So that's my bad there. I've been talking about the 18th, thinking of the 56th Division. But indeed, we do have this force ready to go over here at Cow. It's a bloody shame that I can't have them actually assigned to the correct headquarters. Yes, unfortunately so. It would be really quite nice. I really want them to be part of the same actual formation here, which I believe is the 25th Army. I'm just going to double check that we can't do it just on the sly. I don't imagine so. Okay, I'm slightly confused here. Did we actually just do that? Okay. Okay, wow. I'm just not going to question it. I'm just frankly not going to question it. Yeah, I'm slightly incredulous at the moment. I'm just genuinely confused here. I'm genuinely confused here. It definitely seems as though we must have misunderstood the UI there. Because that's amazing. Yeah, well, that makes my life significantly bloody easier. Because we actually do have the 56th Division actually reformed now, so that is, awesome. I'm really happy about that. Hello there, James. How you doing, my friend? But yeah, that's strange. I thought the political point cost there would have been about 400 odd points. I'm really rather interested, but it did give me the option, and I'm just freaking throwing my hands up in the air here. But at least we have the 56th Division actually reformed, so that's bloody fantastic. Genuinely quite happy here. You take a look at the strength of this bad boy, that's 452 assault value. The best part is we can actually have this divided up now, obviously into 3 constituent parts. So if I was to divide this unit, we can see here that we have A, B, and C detachment. And each of these bad boys is like equivalent to like basically like 2 regiments worth of men. All of them equipped with a fair amount of vehicles and guns, so that's very good actually. Having them actually able to form the division as a whole and then be able to be broken up is going to be extremely effective. Okay. Now currently they're playing from Palembang. Genuinely happy that. That's made my life significantly easier. Hello there, Fut. How you doing, my friend? Okay, we do have obviously to modify our movements out here with our actual submarines. I suppose what we need to do here then, what I'm considering is having the 56th Division, now newly reformed all of a bloody sudden, having it sent down here to Mindanao. The reason being, Mindanao isn't too particularly well held, it's not too particularly well defended, but obviously having bases here in the south of the Philippines would be quite advantageous. It would leave us with the 3 divisions in the north to do their work at Clark, which would be very nice. Hello there, Fron. Hello there, Kubernik. This game between XRG and THG has been going on for pretty long now. Many interesting situations might have arisen. Is there a map of operations or some sort of recap anywhere? Not yet. Probably not. I wouldn't say there is at the moment. Maybe in the future. Maybe in the future. For the most part, it's only the 30th of December, so not... only about 23 days have passed so far since our first turn. So, it's not too bad. We can really recap a lot of things quite easily. But yeah, the situation is still underway, and much has been changed actually in those days. In the days since the 7th of December, we have really been putting on a great amount of pressure down here in the south, where we're actually beginning our major operation. This is where the first major operation of the Pacific War will be fought, and that will be down here. But we'll be going over that one shortly. Now let's go ahead and take a look at how we can actually move the 56th Division. Now, I do have... the Singapore Express that was initially going to be sent down to this area. We do have a couple options here now. The threat in this area does very much come from the US submarines or Allied submarines in general. It just seems like a greater number of them are now in the north in the East China Sea. Which is rather interesting actually. I don't know if there's too many in this area. Now if I was to take a look at what we actually have over here, I'd be rather intrigued. So I have a couple of ships there. ACM of course. So I do have 26 APs here. I don't imagine anything amazing. We do have a lot of our actual cargo ships that have been converted to troop transports out this way. And most importantly, we do have the LSD, which is extremely handy. Even just a timestamp on the videos where the turn happens will be good. The best way to look at this is basically every turn, so from turn, let's say 1 to turn 23, if you watch part 1 always has a turn resolution, so you could basically watch part 1 of every turn, and yeah, you'd see exactly what was happening. And you'd have obviously the initial reactions, and you obviously wouldn't have all the fort decision, well, all the fort in there, indeed. But yeah, just take a look at part 1 of the episodes, and you'll be able to catch up pretty quickly, to be honest. Much to be done. And I put timestamps, but frankly that's a lot of work, to be fair. Okay. So what I'm considering here then, hello there Ragha. Yes indeed we have the LSD. But Ragha, we've actually been able to reform the division, so I'm happy. Turns out, we must have been misreading that, but we've been able to reform the 56th Division over here at Takao, so that's fantastic. Now, with that done, what I'm considering here is the fact that we do have the LSD out here. Now, this LSD that I'm talking about is a landing ship dock. They are extraordinarily valuable. Hello there, Keith. We have the 56th Division. I'm just going to keep going on about that because I didn't expect it, and I didn't think we'd even have it for another couple of days, so we're super, super happy. Yeah, we've been able to actually reform the 56th Division out here. Decent commander. We'll have to see if there's any superior ones in the future, but this is definitely good. Taking a look at the actual table of equipment, we can see here some 5mm guns. We do have the Type 97 tankette and Type 94 tankette. Obviously, it would have been nice to have had something a little bit heavier, but that will do for now. The fact that we actually have integrated vehicles is quite nice. Okay, hello there, Lander. Now, what I'm going to do here is find... where do I have it, actually? 1 second. While we're here, actually, I'm just going to run the turn here. Where do I keep my copy of the ship documentation? Or types of ships, I should say. Uno momento, guys. Uno momento. Ah, here we go. Right, open up the copy of ship types. Okay, so here we have a definition of all the ships in War in the Pacific and a nice description of what they are, what they do. Super handy here, actually. Really does help to explain a lot of different things. Okay, so we're looking for the LSD, which is the landing ship dock, I do believe, so that's the eye. Here we go, landing ship dock. A special purpose ship with a floodable dock capable of direct load of troops into landing craft in the well deck prior to flooding. It carries a large number of landing craft and can unload at an accelerated rate during amphibious operations. Yeah, so these bad boys are incredibly useful, incredibly valuable. The reason for that, I'm not particularly familiar what the actual rates of unloading are. We'll actually have to figure that one out in the future, do a little bit more research there. There we go, got a nice rosé with me, which is quite good. Rosé and coffee. One of them is going to put me to sleep, one of them is going to pick me back up, so I'm going to be in like this happy medium. I'm sure that's how it works, right? Okay. Now, we're still seeing the tracker complain about the vehicle assembly, well, global vehicle points, which I do find rather interesting because we are looking at more vehicles than we've ever had before. I think it might be due to new units coming into operation, or maybe the units that have been severely damaged in the past that do need to have them. It's nothing like in the single-player scenario. Well, in the single-player series, we lost like 100 tanks in like a fucking horrific battle. And nothing like that, thankfully, has actually happened here. Okay. So let's take a look then. So it says Yuya, what says it? Suzuya, has been repaired at Saigon. We'll check that one out. Oi, Zakazi, Tanakazi, Yanami, Hayati, or Hayati? How the hell you pronounce it? Class upgrade. Oh, right, so these have been finished off. I think these are actually in truck. As in your opinion, who is winning the war? Oh, winning the air war, okay. It's a good question. I mean, we've had a few bloody mistakes. Like, I've made a couple mistakes. I mean, this is the thing, it's like my first play-by-email game. And, really had to learn a lot. We've learned so very much in starting the game. We did learn about, well, we did lose about 52 or 56 zeros at the very start of the game, which did really put us on a back foot for actually 8 through the zero replenishment, which is a shame. So I could have really done with those guys. But we've learned from there. We did then have a mistake where we learned really more about the missions in regards to even if the squadrons are set to 0 range and they're still given a mission for example, air attack, they will still fly out. So we've lost about 80 to 90 aircraft unnecessarily so. We have learned really altitude is exceptionally important, and gun value is definitely something that is not to be undervalued. I'd say in Malaya we're winning the air war. I suppose in general we are winning the air war. I suppose it really depends on how you define it, because at the end of the day, it's like, to whichever theatre we decide to commit to, we are achieving aerial supremacy. For example, over here in Malaya, it's not the allies that are setting the tempo. He's just basically reactionary, basically defensive here. He's not really going actively out here anymore. He will do to a degree, obviously he's then punished. The thing is, we do have the A620 platform here, which is incredibly able when actually piloted by good pilots and obviously in the right conditions, but for the most part very capable, our best fighter at the moment. I mean, over here in the Philippines we did have an interesting campaign to begin with. That one could have gone very wrong, but it did go. It was quite nice actually. We did have some nice little wins there. But the Philippines has been subdued in terms of like air power. He does still have aircraft out there, but they will be basically driven out, as he will find himself without really anything in the Philippines to base aircraft. Hello there, Goodman. Now, as far as it goes for the air war in China, well, it's a case of, obviously I've optimized it, my bloody operations. I've taken over K-21s and actually moved them south. As far as it goes, I still have to worry about the H-81s over here. They're quite dangerous, but as far as it goes, he's not really bombing me too much. I'm not bombing him too much. It is going on, but it's not really much of an effective thing, really, in China. So the air war in China is one of, like... It just is. There's no real winner there, considering that it's not really a factor in the campaign in China. Now, the air campaign down here... is an interesting one. I'd say currently... I mean, how do you define a win down here? It really comes down to the fact that, well, really, we haven't had anything, have we? Yeah, we've not had any sort of dogfights as of yet. But in the future, mayhaps. But we do definitely have the aerial supremacy here in this region, and should we actually wish to use it, I mean, obviously we do have Kiributai, and so that's the greatest amount of aerial, numerical superiority that we could actually have in the region, so that's quite nice. Right, okay, so going back to what we were doing there, a little bit of a ramble there. Okay. Yab, you've arrived, making use of you, the Kagimaru. I believe we already have heading out or ready to head out. I think we do have to decide on something there. I think we have tankers or oilers that we need to decide upon. Now, supposedly my game reports here, supposedly the light cruiser Java was sunk there off the coast of Mersing. I'm not entirely sure about that one, I doubt that one. Maryland sunk supposedly, so I doubt that one. Anything in Pearl Harbor I doubt was actually sunk at all, to be honest. I just think they might have been heavily damaged, but I don't think anything would have been actually sunk. And you get newsreel reports? News reports of the time in game like Heart of Iron? No. You get something close, you get like radio reports from Tokyo An. But nothing like that, nothing like that. Okay. Yeah, you've unpacked it, Batangos. Skills increase, that's very good. Leaders arrived over here then. Right, our pilots have arrived over here at Shikaku, Hiru, Akagi. And over here at Kotsuburi, that's good news. Okay, so if we take a look then into our industry. Obviously we'll see this change. Okay. Interestingly enough, our resource efficiency has increased. And so I'd say that's with the capture of additional heavy industry, I'd imagine. Okay. I do need to take a look at the amount of armament points I actually do have. That's going to be very important. Is that music from the considerably better than its DAF sequel, Heart of Iron 3? Yes, it is indeed from Heart of Iron 3 and Heart of Iron 2 Darkest Hour as well, actually. Okay. So since we have 4,381 armament points in the actual pool at the moment, how many armament points am I actually consuming at the moment? That's going to be the question. We can see here, this is like the turn-by-turn industrial usage. So let's see here, vehicles. Can I not open this up further? Can I only see, right, here we go, armaments. Okay, so we can see here that we're using roughly 500... Yeah, around about 581 armament points per turn. And give or take, obviously it does go up and down, depending on what really arrives. So what I'm going to do here then is, let's take a look then. So I'm going to take the last couple turns averages, well, last couple turns, so we'll go with, yeah, okay. 597, 540, 570, 294. Interesting turn there. Quite the drop off, and then one after it increased. Rather intriguing. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There we go. Right. I'd say, I bloody can't remember how to do maths. I'm not going to lie, at the moment I've had a little bit of rosé, so I'm not going to be doing much in the way of maths. But we'll assume that our average is something around about 500 points per turn. Hello there, Tobias. So we're assuming something around about 500 armament points per turn. I'm going to go with a little bit of an overestimation, about 600 points, and just obviously make sure that we do have at least a good idea of what we can expect. Though even taking a look at the earlier turns, I mean, you take a look at turn, what was this? Turn 11, that was a massive, massive usage of points there. Whereas in turns before, yeah, it seems it can wildly vary. Can I get, like, the chart going here? Right. Production, let's take a look. Okay, as you can see here, then, our armament production, then. As you can see here, that obviously we started with something, it looks like about 20,000 points. Yeah, 20,000 points of armament. Oh, it's only tell me that point there. Okay. Oh no, it seems like if you hover over just the right spot, you can get an idea. Okay, so we are going to have to start production of armaments again in the near future. I'd say we could have a couple more turns here, so we'll go ahead and I'll go with a even greater estimation. We'll say that we use 800 points of armament per turn. So we currently have 4,381. Let's say that we are using, so 4,381. Let's say that we're using about, let's say 800 points per turn. Okay, so we have about 5 days now before we have to start producing armaments points. So we'll have another 5 turns go by, and then we'll actually, well, 4 or 5 turns, we'll see how we do. Obviously, it depends on what we are seeing here. But another couple turns, and then we'll restart armament production. If we take a look there, then at the vehicle production, you can actually see here, interestingly enough, it started off, yeah, I'd say that was our start and stockpile, and then as you can see here, it has been slowly increasing, somewhat decreasing over here, but I'd say that this is obviously production. I think this is obviously representing the end turn value, so obviously once everything has been deducted from the pool as well, perhaps. Or perhaps we are seeing some issues in production that we're not aware of. But we're definitely producing more than we have been since the start of the campaign, so production has really increased here. Hello there, Tom, how you doing, my friend? Yeah, Rose. I had a Riesling last night. Ooh, very nice. See, I do like red wine. I really do prefer red wine, but the thing is we don't actually have any red wine in the house at the moment. So having to settle, unfortunately. Right. We'll make do. But on the whole, things are actually going quite nicely. If we take a look then towards oil and resources, we'll take a look then at Japan, if we take a look at our resource history. Okay, so that's interesting. It's actually going against the grain of what we normally see here. Though this might not be a bad thing, it might be just, as we can see, in turn 10, 11, you can see here that at turn 10, obviously resource usage was obviously decreasing, but, oh well, obviously the resource stockpile is still decreasing, and then at turn 11 we see it increase and then decrease the turn after. It may be very much like we are seeing 4 turns of depreciation of our stocks, 2 turns of increase, maybe 1 turn of decrease, and then we might see another few turns of increase. We'll see. It should be alright. Now, supplies continually increase in stock level, which is nice. Very handy, actually. Obviously, we do need the supply for everything really within the game. Really aid the R&D and etc. But overall, not too bad. Then if we take a look at our air production, then obviously that's going to be another one. Of course, we do need to take a closer look at the engine production. We do have it for the most part under control, obviously, as we are producing more and more engines. Though there is a point at which we do need to stop producing certain engines, such as Nakajima HA35, but we are not yet at that stage. So if we take a look at the A6720, let's see. So in history, I can see here at the moment that we do have 12 of them within the pool. It looks as though we are producing, produced 4 last turn, give or take. I'm not entirely sure about that, or at least it's increased by 4, it seems. Okay. Yeah, I think you are going to have to buy this game. If you do buy this game, and it does give you an option, like, for any sort of, like, messages or something like that, or if you could email Matrix Games, that'd be fantastic if you could let them know that you saw me playing and you'd like to play from that point. What I'm trying to do is actually get Matrix to think, okay, yeah, maybe we should keep on developing War of the Pacific. So I know that sounds rather egotistical, but it's all for a good cause. All for a good cause. Trying to promote War of the Pacific. Okay. You can see here losses haven't increased too dramatically. I mean, this was from last time where we did see the A6720s from the Singapore Express actually suffer quite a lot of damage from the bombers, which is rather surprising, but I'm going to put that down to poor pilot experience for the most part. Okay, so if I go to build... There we go. So, The KI-43-1C Oscar is now up to the same level of production as the A6720. Thank you very much there, mate. And this is the thing, if we can actually try and get Matrix games and Slytherin games to think, okay, wow, and there's actually a lot of interest in World Pacific, maybe we should actually put some resources into doing something with it. That'd be awesome. Yeah, we can see here that we're up to about 19 KI-43-1Cs here. That may be enough to actually convert the KI-43-1A squadron. Quite nicely, actually. We might consider doing that. The egotistic. Oh dear. No, I'm being a little bit less, I suppose a little bit less, I don't know how you say it. I'm trying to think of the word. I suppose I'm being more direct. But it is for a good cause. I am trying to promote the awareness of this game. And I have been speaking with Matrix. I'm really trying to get them to actually go down that route. I'm always asking them, are you doing something? Is there going to be something else being done with Warner Pacific? It would be lovely if we could see that. Since the end, this game is absolutely amazing. It'd be amazing if they could actually update it further. Yeah, fuck the wildebeest, man. They're so evil. Okay, so obviously we can see here that KI-21-2A solid production is not... I mean, it's growing, but the main issue here is the fact that obviously we're using the Mitsubishi HA32. Now, if I take a look at the 32 production, you can see here at the moment we're only producing about 76 engines per month, so 2.53 per day. We do have more facilities to come online, but the thing is, yeah, we just don't have enough right now. So this needs to increase massively so. Absolutely massively so. You can see it wasn't too bad in the first stages of the game, as we did have a few of these engines within the pool, but as you can see here, especially since these turns here, you can see that engine pool has just evaporated. Yeah, one of Atlantic, holy shit, that'd be amazing. That would be interesting. That would be very interesting. Yeah, war in Atlantis. Okay. The Scallop War. War in the Scallop Wars. War in the Atlantic. Okay. So that's not too bad, then. Not too bad. Right. Let's see, then. So back to the game. Now, as I was discussing some time ago, actually, we were talking about the landing ship dock, which is over here in Kotoburu. So if I take a look at what actually can be capable of amphibious operations. Now, I do have the Akashi over here, Akashi. She's lovely, she's going to be very handy. She has 95 AA value. She is armed with a 140mm guns, though. She has about 4 of those bad boys. Nice big AA guns, though. Really nice. Torpedoes, and she obviously does carry a float plane, very handy. Right, we're going to take her. I do have the Saga, which is obviously a escort. It would be fantastic if they could incorporate the naval aspects of this game to warn the West. I would love to control either side's individual ships. Yeah, that'd be really interesting. Very one-sided to the Allies, I'd imagine. Okay. We do have a lot of ships over here that are still actually carrying supply, which is rather intriguing. And actually quite a bit of fuel on board as well. But what we need to do then is actually take a look at the troop capacity. So let's see. I don't think the... Actually, no, the LSD does have a large amount of troop capacity. I'd love to know where their offload, onload, well, yeah. Load, offload would be. So let's see, I'm just going to take a look in the manual here, see if I can find anything at quick notice. Would be very handy, actually. It's a really good manual, it's just trying to find it, really. Right. I'd imagine it might be in the rear of the book, actually. I can't quite find it, but we'll be able to figure it out, I'm sure. But what we need to do then is have the Shinshu Maru really utilized. Her durability is 31, so she's not particularly weak. She's not particularly like going to just roll over. which is not, she's not exactly a warship even, is she? Her tonnage is actually not too bad at all, 10,700, which is actually fairly large. But she's very, very good. We definitely need her here. And we can see her AA is actually very nice, but her maneuverability is extremely low. Obviously, the fact is, it's not a Blade Destroyer, is it, to the end of the day? Okay. And we do have troop ships over here. You can see, obviously, they are vastly different. Durability, yep, lower, but very nice troop capacity. Right. Yeah. Okay, so this brings me up to 9,925 troop capacity here. And you can see here that we actually do have some troop transports that actually are pretty speedy. What we may have to do here then is actually take a look at their endurance rather than their actual speed. Well, no, speed and endurance to a degree. Yeah. Okay, so what we'll do here then is AP. Can you look at or download the manual to this game before you buy? I think if you take a look at the actual forum, so 1 second. I'm sure there's something about the manual there. I'm sure it's here somewhere. Somewhere. I'm pretty sure I've seen something like that. But we do have this post over here, which I'm going to actually post in the actual chat. Let's see. Actually, no, I don't know if this one would be too handy. Hold on 2 seconds, guys. Right, here we go. Yeah, I've not looked through this one myself personally, but I'd say give it a go, and just see what you think to it. It does look to have some good information there. But yeah, and the manual itself is worth it. It's very nice quality to it, to be honest. But let's carry on then, shall we? Okay. Getting a little bit off topic today, aren't I? So we can take a look here and see if the fact is the actual troop transports, the actual dedicated transports themselves, well, not really dedicated, obviously they're like passenger liners, aren't they? Obviously, like present to service of this nature. And the endurance isn't too great. I don't know whether they're actually at their maximum endurance. It's, yeah, their endurance is actually really quite low. These are not going to be up to the task that we need them. So what we're going to be doing here then is take a look at the AEK, so obviously the cargo ships. You can see here the T represents the fact that it has been converted to actually carry troops while its cargo space has been converted. As we can see here that these look to have been, yeah, these are USNSs. Very, very nice. They still have a fantastic cargo value, so very valuable ships there indeed. Now, these are Kyushus, yeah, super, super valuable. I am a little bit hesitant about actually using them, considering their value. I'll go ahead and use them. It may be worth our time to actually evacuate them from the area. Yeah, that's obviously more capacity than we'll ever need. Hello there, Carl. You can troop transport a lot of troops. You can carry a lot of troops. It would be extremely, extremely risky, Carl. It's one of those things that would be extremely risky. There might be a chance that the Allied bombers don't fly, but it's very, very rough. Yeah. So what we need to do then is figure out how we're actually going to get these guys out of here and keep them alive. Though we do need to use the LSD. We're going to use these guys over here, have them sent to Formosa, I'd say, and then we can actually transport the 56th Division down to Mindanao first and foremost. And the good news is they already have some supply in here, quite a lot of supply actually, 1200 units of fuel as well, is not too bad. Right, yeah, have a great weekend there, my friend. That sounds really awesome. See you later. Okay, let's see, so in Kotoburu, so we'll see what we can actually use here. So transfer. Now, I'm worried because if I send Congo out here, obviously that's going to invite attack rather quickly. Though the thing is, I don't think we have to worry too much about attack at this range. Most of his torpedo bombers obviously do not have that range. Obviously, he does have bombers over here that do have range. We could have the A620s run cover. But I think what we'll do here is, I don't know, it's a really hard question. Do we actually try to bring Congo? The thing with Congo is she's a damaged ship. She's extremely tough still. She does have 27 points of flood damage. It might be worth to bring her out. I mean, it would be something that would obviously draw a lot of the enemy fire, for us protecting potentially the actual transport. I don't know, what do you guys think? Do we take Congo? I mean, she does have a lot of AA value, so at least it's something. It's just one of these of, she's going to make it a target, but I suppose at the end of the day it's going to be a target regardless of what we do here, isn't it? I'm kind of leaning towards it, to a degree. Well, the thing is, we need to have her sent to home waters to be repaired. Her speed's actually not too bad at all, actually. She's always going to be making a greater speed than the ships over here. And we could have the escorts actually brought in to watch over her. We can have actually the Singapore Express stay close by to cover her from the air. I think we'll take Congo. The sooner that we can have her sent to, let's say, either like Macau or Hong Kong, probably Hong Kong, and the better, as obviously then I'll be able to have her undergo her repairs and we'll actually be able to get her back into the war. Because right now she's not doing anything. And so we'll have Congo brought out, so she's going to be leading the convoy. Okay. Yep, Congo's going to lead. Obviously we'll have to just run here at mission speed. If the flooding situation becomes worse, we'll have to see what the situation is there. And she could always be, diverted towards like Saigon if needs be, but mission speed should be alright. We'll take a look and really just keep a close eye on the flotation. We should be alright. She does obviously bring a lot of naval search with her, which is very nice. Yes. There we go. Yep, okay. We're going to bring them out. I suppose he's not going to be looking to actually hit Kotoburu. Well, her docks anyhow. So we'll have them tasked towards heading to Macau. So low threat threshold, obviously, well, low threat tolerance, we obviously do not want to be fighting here. We are going to be going near our own waters, well, near our own coastlines here, so that's quite nice. So let's see. I do have another escort here. Yep, 19. She only has a light amount of ASW, but that's fine. So what we're going to do here then is clear this path. Meet. Yep, so he's well aware of his task force over here, Task Force 43. Obviously this one is brand new, so he's not going to know about it. He may not know about it until it's too late, actually. Until she actually does actually set off out. We should be able to make a couple hexers, so let's take a look here. So... yeah, not going to be moving super far, but we'll be moving anyhow. Okay. Right. What I'm going to do then is have them set out to meet the task force as well to actually further escort it, merge. Now the submarines are down here. Okay. Now I suppose the question is, do we do that Or do we begin? We'll see what we have over here at account, see if I can have anything and begin to load them up already. And so if I'll take, well, I'll take a look over here then. So let's see. The 56 pit stop at Camran Bay. Maybe. I mean, the worst case scenario is we have to call in at Saigon or Camran Bay, but we'll see. Okay, so your load cost here is 12,684. Cargo is not too bad. Okay, so let's see what we can actually do here, if there's anything that would be available to actually take them. I could probably handle them, possibly, but we'll see. So amphibious troop. Actually, I don't know if I have the capacity. No, we don't have enough capacity to take them. I could only take part of them at most, and some of these ships are already assigned, aren't they? So it's not going to happen. Okay, so it's going to have to be these ships from Kutubru. I mean, these are very nice ships. They are pretty quick as well, so we're not going to be standing around too long with a tail between the legs. So let's see here. Do you have a destroyed minesweeper? Okay. So we'll alter the patrol patterns then. Obviously, we do want to cover this area. I'd imagine it's probably going to be heading towards my carrier. So what we'll do then is we'll actually head at the course of a day. We'll head north. I'll say to about here, just south of Sok itself. Okay. Head north there. Now what I'll do here is have the A6M2 Right, long range combat patrol, yep, okay. It's gonna be, we'll have to look at obviously having these guys rest shortly, but we'll have them used to escort the actual force from the air. Right, there we go. So all A6M2 are going to be sent to actually escort that force, which is going to be good. What I'll do here then is step these guys down to about 15,000 feet. There we go. So I'm sending 3 destroyers out here. We'll have a few ships over here. I do have some additional ships over here that I can actually use to join. Yep, we have 4 additional destroyers. So we'll do that. Right, form new task force, service combat. Take the destroyers there. Now these are very nice. Good amount of speed there. Okay. Another 2 destroyers then will be embedded here. As we'll have a couple of actual escorts there, obviously we'll be escorting via the air. And we'll rely on the fact that he might not know exactly what's going on here, which could be quite handy. As well. If he doesn't know, then that's it. Yeah, I think it's probably about time we take Congo out, really. And at the end of the day, she's actually going to be able to do quite a lot good here. She's a tough old bird, so, I mean, if she's going to be hit by the air, if it's anything short of, I mean, yeah, she can take the bomb hits. Torpedoes are the things that we have to worry about. But bomb hits aren't too much of an issue. And the thing is, we're going to be sweeping here at Singapore. I'm half tempted to have some A6M2 stay here to guard Kutubru. And imagine that's probably what it's going to be expecting for the most part. Have to decide on this one. Okay. Right. Well, what I'm going to do here then is I'm going to leave 20% of the A6M2 on combat air patrol here in Kutubru. There we go. Now, of course, I do have the KI-43-1Bs as well. 50% of them are running combat air patrol at the moment. What I'm going to do here then is, let's see. They're currently running at 20,000 feet. We don't really have any more KI-43-1Bs left either. So it might be that we upgrade either the 1A or the 1B squadron, whichever one is the lowest in strength first. Okay. So what I'll do then is I'll have them escort, run combat air patrol over here, primarily at Kutubru. And the reason for that is obviously we did see quite a lot of nasties coming down here. Now, I'm going to have them run about 15,000 feet. We are seeing, obviously, bombers run at much lower than that. But we can't really sacrifice too much there in terms of, like, actual advantage gained by, well, diving. Now, I'd imagine he's probably going to be having his bombers heading out here to hit the destroyers and torpedo boats over here. So he's going to have a lot of things on his plate here. He's going to be thinking, right, okay, what's going on? Are they going to come down here? I doubt he's going to think, okay, they're heading out this way. We'll see. We also do need to actually look at refueling here, so that's a good timing. And what we'll probably do here then, because we do have 16,000 units of fuel here, is, okay. I could have the Oilers set out to meet them. It's not a massive escort, however. We do have Suzuya. Well, Suzuya. And another destroyer here. Okay, well, that's not bad. I suppose then we could have the additional heavy cruiser moved in here as well. So what we'll do then is take these bad boys over here. I'm going to have them sent out to meet the carriers. Yep, refuel. Right, tactical refuel, tactical refuel, tactical refuel. Okay. You're already heading back to Saigon. Okay, that works for me. You need to return for some fuel, actually. There we go. Right, we will be launching a deliberate attack over there. Now, we are meeting some success over here, but these are mainly bombers. It seems like they're the only aircraft he actually has in this area here. Seems the vast majority obviously down this way. Doesn't look like he has any fighters out this way, though, so that's very good. Not much in the way of units either. It may be worthwhile to actually use our bombers over here just to actually aid our forces here, which is probably not a bad idea at all. Yeah, it would actually really reduce our operational losses for the most part, considering that we have very close here to the front. Now let's take a look. We do have the 59th Sentai. We need to take a look at where we can actually have them upgraded, because that's the main thing here. I think I do want to actually get some KF-43-1Cs out into the front lines. At the moment, we do have our KF-43-1Cs over here at the moment. It might actually be even worthwhile just actually completely surrendering here in China in terms of like the air front and just allow them just to have the air. Hard to say. Yeah, I'm kind of coming around to that idea, because at the end of the day, if we just... Because I don't need all these bombers here. They're not doing too much for me. What we could do is we could actually have them operate quite far in the rear, perhaps, or we could even just use them for actual training. Because for the most part, he doesn't have bomber numbers in sufficient numbers to actually... Well, yeah, sufficient number of bombers to really do terribly much. So it might be just worthwhile just to have our own bombers here and just run training missions for the most part and use them if necessary. Yeah, I'd go with that. We're struggling to escort them in such large numbers, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to have them set to train. We definitely need a lot of pilots here, ground training. So I'd say this is probably for the best. So we've sent all the KF-51 Sonoyas. There we go. Now what we'll do then is obviously have our KF-43-1Cs transferred the hell out of China. I'll have them actually transferred either to like Malaysia or even potentially to the Philippines for the first part. Obviously, we might not be able to make the journey in one jump. I doubt it. They could actually... I don't know, they might be useful down here towards like Borneo and the Philippines in general. Like, maybe down to Mindanao. That could be handy. Yeah, you know what, actually, I think we could do with them in the Philippines. I could actually have them deployed there. They'd be able to run combat air patrol, well, they'd be able to sweep over Clark, and then I'd be able to run my bombers, or whatever bombers I actually had in the region without any worries. We could have them sent to Malaya, but I think in Malaya they're not going to be too particularly useful, and I could have the KI-43-1As upgraded to 1Cs to actually act in that area. But if I have the 1Cs actually transferred from China to the Philippines, I can actually use them to help seize Clark. Obviously, then it enables to run the bomber interference over there. Well, bomber actions over there, I should say. Well, interference via bomber. But we can see here, then once we did move in over Mindanao, obviously I'd have to protect my landing ships, my actual transport flotilla, as they made their way down here. And obviously having some Ki-43, some fairly capable fighters doing so would be very nice. So yes, we're going to go to the Philippines. Where should we move them? That's a question. Okay. Aviation support here is decent. 48 is required. We have 70. The airfield is going to be expanded as well, so that's not too bad at all. Let's see here. So I still have the 14th Army, which I'm going to move up actually. Yes, we'll have it move up. I'll have it move down towards like San Fernando, then it can actually move towards the rail line. Airfield Construction Battalion. These guys are amazing for the fact they actually have vehicles. That's super handy. Yeah, you can see that's actually really helping us expand the port here. Which is absolutely needed. Okay, you guys get your asses in gear. Head towards San Fernando as well. Then obviously you can join the rest of your division. Okay. And I could actually have them move to San Fernando itself, actually. Let's take a look over here. Support E... Right, aviation support is 44. The airfield is only a size... Actually, no, it's a size 3. That's quite nice. We are building fortifications, which is quite good. What do we have here, then? We have... how many engineers? 24 engineers, okay. Need to move all these troops. And yeah, we have additional aviation support as well, which is good. You'll be done soon, actually. Right. Okay, then we'll be able to move those forces out. So I can actually have them move to San Fernando, which is even closer to Clark, so that's better. Yeah. And what's the plan for the planes of Malaysia? What we're doing here at the moment is we are sending our A6M20s to actually sweep Singapore. Which is going to be good, so they're going to be sweeping Singapore. We are leaving 20% of them behind, obviously the 20% that would be on rest. They're going to stay behind to actually run combat air patrol over Cotobrue. We're not running any bombing operations at the moment. We've decided against that one, unfortunately. I'd like to keep up the pressure. Trust me, I bloody well would like to keep up the pressure, but the thing is, the small raids aren't doing anything particularly massive, so what I'd be better off doing here is just making sure I can run over the skies of Singapore with no issues, but do so with sufficient number of bombers, so that's fine. We'll just keep up this for the moment. It's only going to be a couple days now, a week at most, and we'll have a good number of bombers again. And in the meantime, also we'll have our troops marching. We'll be reinforcing here at Bursting shortly, which has been nice. Additional troops there. Of course, he's doing the same. But we're now in a very interesting situation where basically it's Hooplings first for the most part. But at the end of the day, this is actually drawing a lot of his troops into Ma Sing that need to be elsewhere, which is quite good. Yeah, as long as they're not actually where they need to be, that's good. We just need a couple days here, then we can actually move south. And once we begin to move south, then if we can actually hold on to Mersing, we might even yet seize Mersing. I think Mersing could be very important in the coming days. Depending on if the troops actually do hold, I think it could be extremely important. But obviously that does rely on them actually holding. And we do have sufficient amount of supply here, which is really quite nice. But it does really rely upon them holding here. It's absolutely essential they do. We do have some good commands here. I might have you changed out here for a greater commander as well. I think the Oh, do I really only have 65? Okay, so we don't have any exceptional candidates here at the moment. Right. Yeah, that's what we're going to be doing. So all the bombers are stood down at the moment, which obviously does make them targets for the airfield attacks, but the thing is, obviously, we're going to be running greater amounts of combat air patrol now. Okay. Yeah, I think what we're going to do here is run the K-48 to hit Georgetown. So we'll hit Georgetown at 10,000 feet. Terrible bomb load. I mean, 400 kilograms, I suppose, isn't bad, but it's just, like, not exceptional. We'll hit them at 10,000 feet. Actually, no, I'm going to go with about 12. Yeah, we'll go with about 12,000 feet as normal. The reason for that is it does put us out of range of most of the Allied AA. Which is quite nice, and obviously it's nice to have a little bit more altitude, put us closer to the fighters. Yeah, we'll go with the ground attack. So on the Ka-48 is going to be doing that. Yep, okay. Reorganize the actual fighters themselves. I'm building up the amount of A-System-2 we have in the pool. I don't know whether I should have some of these released. I'm kind of building them up so I can obviously replenish Kidabutai. That's the main idea. Okay, so escort over Georgetown. Or A-System-2. Right, the 1As. There we go, 15,000 feet. Yeah. The time for these planes is coming to an end. Okay, I'm going to have you reconnaissance. Run reconnaissance over Georgetown. We do have some detection there, but it's not very great. So we'll run their reconnaissance. That'll help our troops out here quite nicely. A good couple of bombers out here. Help reduce their numbers, make it much easier on our troops here. They do have 23 fatigue and 8 disruption, so they're not going to be in the best shape, but that should help them. At the moment, they are still playing for Singapore, so I'm going to continue to do that. But yes, and the good news is once Georgetown has been taken, then, well, there's an additional base there for us to actually use and abuse, which is quite good. The airfield's obviously quite heavily damaged, but we can always make use of it in the future, but it's in a nice position, and is also handling some heavy industry, so that's going to be quite good. We can use that. Okay. I think the most part, that's the main thing here. So let's see. I do have enemy warships hunting down my submarines, so we do need to be careful about that. I think what we're going to do here then is actually head away from the enemy warships. Question's going to be where. I'd say head down here. Right, currently you are undetected. So patrol a little bit further out here. That's not bad actually, move that. So there, then there. Okay. You're patrolling over here by Batavia. You'll need to refuel soon. What I'm going to do then is have you head down this way. And there we go. So we're loading our troops aboard the destroyers and APDs here. So that shouldn't take them too long to actually load up. Depends really on the loader speed. The port is size... What size port do we have here? It is damaged. Okay, so it's a size 2 port. It does have some damage. But that's still good. We should be able to load up in about a day or two anyhow. And then we'll actually look towards hitting here. We are going to be running reconnaissance, which is good. Yeah, I'm just going to be running reconnaissance over there, so I should try and gather an idea of what we're dealing with. Okay, so we're going to move the Ki-43.Cs. So I do have one of them that's damaged here at the moment. It'll be ready in a day to actually join us again. But what we'll do then is have them move into the Philippines. So we're going to have them move over here to San Fernando. Can't transfer there due to headquarters. Okay. Oh, right. I might have been taken... Yeah, right. That makes sense. So I need the political points here. Okay, so I can't move them as of yet. I could maybe run... Hard to say. I'll have the pilots trained for the time being then. Just have them train. I don't know. I think what we'll do here then for the time being... I'm going to have the squadron filled out again to 30 planes. So what we need to do here then is actually transfer some pilots. Not particularly amazing here, but we'll take them. Okay. That's really playing my eyes. Right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9-ish. I'll just make sure it's 9-ish. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to transfer that in. They're not all the best pilots ever, but the reason why is we're going to have them sent in with the Ki-43 squadron to obviously have them train. And then obviously they might not be the best, but we'll have them in decent planes. At least then they'll be able to learn on the job, per se. They're not bad with that amount of experience. They're not exactly great. Just obviously just need to get the more experienced pilots out there, don't we? That's what we need them. Okay. See, the actual oil that we have here at Foremost, it might even be worthwhile sending one day to the Dutch East Indies to actually have it, well, converted by the refineries. Though, actually, what would probably be the better idea is actually have them... I mean, I could have them, like, transferred to Hong Kong or something like that. Or just look to have it transferred to Shanghai. Then we could even have the oil sent all the way down here to Busan or something like that, potentially. Or there's a number of different ways that we have here. That would be really quite handy. So much to do. We'll see. Depends really what the situation is, because it's one of these things of if there's not much in the way of activity here in the next coming turns, we'll have it transferred to Japan. We're going to really see. It'd be nice in the future, because obviously what we could do here is have fuel and oil from the Dutch East Indies actually transferred. Should we actually open up this connection here? I don't know really what sort of levels we could actually see a transfer from here, but it might be worthwhile to have it transferred to Hong Kong, and then maybe through Hong Kong have it move up the roads, but it's one of these things where I don't have a lot of information about that one. So it's hard to say, yeah, we'll definitely do that. Okay. So these forces march into the north, as we know. Yeah, that's very good. Okay, obviously these forces march into Xinjiang, as we know. Yep, they'll be arriving next turn. What mode are they in? They're currently in combat mode. Excuse me. Which is obviously what we need here. I'd like to actually deal with these war area headquarters, but we'll have another unit dispatched to deal with that, to be honest. The 15th over here. Why are you here? Because you are not in a position to do anything. Really actually kind of out of position quite badly. So we'll have you transferred down that way. We do need our political points to actually transfer the carefree 43-1Cs down here to the Philippines, but we'll do that in the short time. The carriers are going to be escorting, well, the actual A620 is going to be escorting the Congo and the transport ships as we have them. Head alongside Baby Kidabutai to either Formosa itself, or I could have like Baby Kidabutai actually transferred down here to Celebes Sea. It depends on the situation, but we do have options there, which is quite nice. It depends on the amount of risk in this area, but it would be good to actually get them moving ASAP. What else do we actually have here then? I do have a decent amount of AA that I'd love to have elsewhere. I do have the 65th Brigade, which is still quite heavy there, 7,488, so I'm not going to be able to move that anytime soon. I do have the Yokosuka SLLF. Do need to make use of them. The question is going to be, where do we make use of them? We do have 5th Air Division, but of course we do need a air headquarters out here. Maybe it might be worthwhile to actually have that transferred to the Philippines potentially in the future. Very near future actually could be very handy. We'll come around to that one actually. I'd like to have the 3rd Naval Fleet headquarters actually move down here to Hong Kong actually. We are sending it over via plane at the moment. It might be worth our time to actually have it transferred via ship actually. Yeah, we'll have it transferred via ship, I reckon. I'll leave the actual troop transport planes to do so, to carry on as they are now. Just that at least we can make use of them. I do have the Yokosuka I do need to look at. So let's see here. I'm sending a grand amount of our air landing forces down to the South Pacific, so I reckon I could probably do with these guys. Maybe. Hard to say, hard to say. I suppose the question comes down to, like, when are they going to be more strategically useful? I think they could be very handy, maybe down in the South Pacific more than elsewhere for the most part. Like, they would have uses in Malaya. I mean, they'd have uses, sorry, in, like, Java or Sumatra. I think I'll have them transferred to Sumatra, actually. These guys, at least, because obviously then we can have them do a short jump over into Sumatra, which would be very good. So yes, we'll have them move to Sumatra. Okay, I'm going to pick up the Yokosuka. I mean, I do need to move out the 65th Brigade, actually. They can be very handy elsewhere. Okay, so verified load. Load troops only. Verify. Yes. Correct. Go. Okay, so back to the cow. How heavy is the headquarters? The Naval Fleet headquarters is 2880. We may be able to handle that. It's unknown at this time here if we can. Maybe. You might get 5th headquarters moving to the Clark Airfield. It's good to get it ready when coordinating air attacks in the Philippines. And that could be a very good idea, actually. I think we are going to have it moved out of the, well, out of Formosa pretty soon, actually. Because the need for me to be able to launch torpedo attacks from Formosa has just disappeared for the most part. But yeah, it'd be very good to actually have it made ready to actually head to the Clark Airfield. At least from there, it can actually help to ensure security in the South China Sea and in the Philippine Sea in the future, as well as also build up a nice strategic hub there for air activity. But we'll take a look. Obviously, we'll be able to move it around as we go, which is going to be the way to do things. Yeah, we'll go for that then. I suppose it's going to be one of these things of we need to react to the situation, or really try to dictate the situation. But we don't need it in Formosa. That's for certain. Okay, that's a Kyushu. Do need that bad boy heading elsewhere, but for the time being I'm going to use it for now. Okay, yep, we can handle it. What did it say it was 2280? I'm going to say so. We'll make it a solid 3000 just to be... I'd like a round number like that. We can have it set to use minimum amount of ships anyhow, so we'll load troops. So I'm going to load the the 3rd Fleet Headquarters out here. There we go. Actually, no, we weren't too far off, were we? So, load troops only. Verified loads. Actually, I need another ship here. And there we go, now we're actually happy. Right, so we can just load there. I think for the most part I can tell these troop transports actually stop then. Stand down. Train, transport, yes. Yeah, we'll have them load up the actual headquarters. Once they're done here, we'll have it transferred to Hong Kong. Which would be fantastic, actually, because what I could do then is actually look at expanded enable repair shipyards over here at Hong Kong, which would be exceptional. But then again, 50,000 tons of capacity at Hong Kong is actually really quite good. I mean, that is basically able to handle all but the largest of our ships. I mean, all but the Yamato-class battleship, I'd imagine. I don't think there's anything else in that sort of weight category. So that's very handy. Of course, it would be nice to have additional repair shipyard capacity, as obviously we'd be able to repair additional ships. But 50,000 is a pretty good solid number, and having the naval support there would definitely turn Hong Kong into a proper naval base for us, which would be fantastic, so that is what it is. A great amount of fuel there. Not some great amount of supplies that's been used, but yeah, huge amount of fuel, which is obviously what we need. Okay, yeah, we're doing that then. Right, you're loading the Yokosuka. Once they're ready and done, I'll have them transferred over here to Malaya. We'll have them actually transferred to probably a low star, or either to Georgetown, or even to Taiping. Taiping is actually quite a nice airfield. Let's see here. What's the range from Taiping to Medan? It's about 4 from a low star. 4. There's a lot of troops there. I suppose the thing is we want to take control of something, use it as a staging post. And we'd have to gather a lot of transportation planes over here, or look at barges. We'd have to look at the viability of barges, and then once we actually had enough troops potentially to go via barge, then we could actually look towards using them. I do have some oil over there. Level 2 port as well. My issue with that, though, is there's no road infrastructure. So it wouldn't do me any good, really. It'd be nice to seize it, because at the end of the day it would mean I'd have a toehold in Sumatra, but it wouldn't be near anything. I wouldn't be able to use it to move anywhere any time quickly. It does have a nice port, though. Yeah, it's just a hard one. If we take a look at the actual terrain here, it's swamp. So let's take a look at how our movement is affected by swamp. So swamp is, yeah, it's just nothing there. Very little on the way of movement. Swamps and jungles, hellish terrain. I think when we actually do come to heading towards Palembang, it is going to have to come down to taking Djambi. And that's going to be the one where we have to take it, as otherwise we'll be having to cross a river over here. That's going to be no good for us. So it's going to have to be probably Djambi, which doesn't even have a port. So situation is difficult, really. Very difficult. It could be that we obviously have to land here at Osthaven or somewhere nearby. We'll just have to cross that when we get to it, to be honest. It's not an easy situation, whichever way we look at it. So obviously he's going to be defending it. And he's not going to let it go anytime soon, is he? See, Billington would make a nice base, actually. Very nice little base there for actually controlling the Java Sea. Okay. So we're moving our submarines here. I mean, for the most part, we do have everything under wraps. It's just obviously the last finishing moves here while we wait for THG to actually get back from his holiday. Okay, so we're moving down there. I think we need to obviously not watch individual bases, but probably just lock down the Banda Sea. I think really focusing on the Mikasa Strait, I think we need to take a look at where the oil is coming from, really. And that's going to be the best idea. Yeah, we'll head down then to the Mikasa Strait. At least we'll be heading through the, was that the Banda Sea as well, so if we pick up any targets there, that'd be quite nice. I think what I might do with you, you could head to the Torres Strait, but the Torres Strait is quite some distance from here. I'll have you head down here as well, then I reckon. Yeah, we'll really lock down the Mikasa Strait. Also, we'll alter those movements as we get there. We are moving down here. Our troops are on the way. Yep, here they are. It'll take them a couple days to arrive down here. But the good news is then we'll be able to launch simultaneous operations really across this area of Borneo. Be good to actually have the submarine support out here as well. Okay. So we looked at this situation, not at Midway, sorry, at Wake. Yep, I do have my convoy down here. Yep, okay, Chichijima. I was really considering for a moment there of sending the Chichijima base force to Midway, but I don't think it's worthwhile. I don't think it is. I think even if we were to turn Midway into an actual effective base there for our air squadrons, I just don't think we'd have the numbers to really hold it. I think that is a big issue there. It would be nice, don't get me wrong, but I just don't think we'd be able to have the numbers to actually effectively hold it. I mean, should he actually send out sufficient numbers, we'd not have much in the way of chance there. So probably not for the... it's not for the faint-hearted, is it really? I'd definitely say so. It's always a consideration, though, so we'll bear that in mind for the future. But I can't see Midway really taking on much value here. Not yet. I just can't see it. So they're going to continue their way down to KYJ. We do have the 2 squadrons running SW over here. It'd be good to have the Chichijima special base force at KYJ. At least we'd have some actual engineers there to aid. And we'll see our landers here next turn. Very good. Okay. Now, a question I keep thinking about is really how to respond to the situation over here at Fiji. And so I'm going to go back to Warplan Orange here for a moment and just read a little section that I do find rather interesting. Okay, so... let's see. Let's try and find it. Okay, right. About 1910, the college president Raymond P. Rogers adopted the applicatory system, better known as the estimate of the situation. It was a thinking process recommended by his kinsman Captain William Ledyard Rogers, who learned it at the Army War College. A great white light broke on the service when through this system plans were presented as 4 reasoned elements: a statement of mission, assessment of enemy forces and intention, assessment of own forces, and evaluation of possible courses of action. So, what that basically details is like we need to actually take a look at so let's go over the different points here as I just said. So statement of mission. So what is our statement of mission down here in the South Pacific? Our statement of mission is to seize the Fiji area, to seize this area of the Pacific here in general, this South Pacific area. The statement of the mission is to do that and to really prevent the US supply convoys and US troop convoys, basically US power, making its way down here. We're trying to block that. So that is our mission statement. And then obviously move on to assessment. Okay. Assessment of enemy forces and intentions. Okay, so if we take a look at then, obviously the assessment of the enemy force and intentions, what do we have down here? So we have a varying amount of reconnaissance here. We have seen something in the region of 4 to 6 heavy cruisers maybe. I'm going to say that roughly because I do not know if that's exactly right, but I'm going to estimate that as about 6 heavy cruisers in the area potentially. Now that could be a gross estimation, which I imagine it actually is a gross estimation, but we're going to go with 6 heavy cruisers. And I think at the end of the day, if we overestimate the enemy to a degree, that is going to be all the better for us. So let's go with a wild number then. I'm going to go with an assumption of, let's say, 6 heavy cruisers in this area. I don't know whether they're all here now, I don't know where they are, but I'm going to say 6 heavy cruisers, give or take. We did see supposedly at least 2 heavy cruisers over here, and a couple of warships. So far we have seen, let's say for example, 6 heavy cruisers. We've definitely seen something in the region about 4 or 5 light cruisers. We've seen quite a few destroyers, but not massive numbers of destroyers. So I could estimate something in the region of about 5 to 10, maybe that sort of number of destroyers in the area. So in terms of air power, I don't have much of a frame of reference for his air power in this area, and due to the fact that we haven't yet moved into the area, so we don't know what we could potentially face in here in the air, I'm going to estimate that he's going to have something in the region of a couple fighters. Depending on whether his carriers are here or not, I'm going to assume that his carriers are here. We're going to overestimate the situation as much as possible and really plan for the absolute worst case scenario. So if we estimate here that if the carriers are in the region, which I do not know where they are, generally do not know where they are at this moment in time, but I'm going to assume that they're actually in the area or close to the area. So we could assume something in the region about... I don't know, if we saw all 3 fleet carriers, we might be looking at a total 270 aircraft. I'm going to say about a third of that is fighters, so let's say worst case scenario we see something in the region of 90 fighters. I'll say that a good 60 to 70% of that is buffaloes. So let's just go and say, for the sake of reasoning, that of those 90 odd fighters, maybe about 30 F4Fs, and then the rest are buffaloes. So we can definitely defeat the buffaloes and the F4Fs. I mean, the F4Fs are actually quite dangerous, and they're actually very capable, but the thing is the A620 is superior, due to the fact that we have the pilot experience and we do have the superior range. Now, once that does leave the remaining, what was it, like 180 aircraft or something of that nature as bombers. I think the Americans favour dive bombers over the torpedo bomber. So if we estimate that about 60% or 80% of that, I'm going to say about 60 or 70% of that force, probably 60% of that force, of that 180s SPDs, Dauntless dive bombers, obviously we can expect him to have a range to about 8 hexes there, give or take. So he can actually project 1,000-pound bombs out to 8 or so hexes. And obviously the Devastator torpedo bombers, still dangerous, but obviously shorter range, so not too particularly dangerous, as long as we could stay out of his range. So obviously what we'll have to do here is, when we approach the situation, is assume that we might be facing these numbers. I doubt we'll see them in direct action, because I don't think it'd risk his carriers like that. The thing is, we are going to have to risk our carriers, because we cannot simply take this area without risking them. But what we are going to do with them is use them quite coy. We're going to be coy with them. So we can see Kidabuta probably head down to this area here. Though what I might want to do is actually place myself on this side of the New Hebrides Islands, depending on the situation here. As I do not need to be in the Coral Sea, but I do want to be close enough to Fiji to actually impact the situation here and be aware of what's coming. Though, it might do us good to actually be on the other side of the New Hebrides. So if we take a look here then. So F6, okay. We can see here then that the coral reefs prevent movement around here then. So, when you actually take a look at the Fiji area, you see what looks to be essentially a free reign of islands where ships can move without any issue at all. In reality, that situation is vastly different. It's actually not correct nor accurate. There is limitation of movement around here at Fiji, which is something that we do need to recognize. So we can see here then that he can't move directly across these red lines. Okay, so we can see here there's potentially choke points already. So what we'll probably do here then, depending on the situation, let's see here. So, how many hexes? Okay, so 9 hexes. 9 hexes to Nardi, 10 to Suva. So to be... I don't know, it depends really. I don't know if B5 and 2Ks carry torpedoes out to 9 hexes. So we'll take a range of... no, I'll take 9 hexes as our maximum range. Obviously, whether that's correct or not, we'll find out in the future, but I'm going to take 9 hexes. So what I'll do then is I'll draw this here. Okay, so is this 9 hexes or is this 10 hexes? That's 9 hexes. 9. 10. Okay. 9. Okay. Okay. This is our attack corridor. So if I move down that narrow strip of sea, narrow strip of ocean here, it does actually give me range to hit Nardi and Suva. So, yeah. So from this line here, we could hit Nardi, and we could hit Suva. We're out of range. Actually, no. Okay, interesting. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we've just found our prime position. Here. These 2 hexes. God damn it. Okay. Here. That's where Kidabutai needs to be placed. There we go. Prime position is probably hex 123159. 12316 does actually give us that a little bit of range, but it places us closer to Numea. But what we'll have to do then is bear that in mind, because what we could actually do here then is, let's say, escort... Okay, so our landing forces will be heading down this way. What we can actually do then is I can actually have Kidabutai head down this way to actually head into this position here. So if we take a look then, so if we are in this position here then, so let's see, so 1, 2, 3... Okay, so this one obviously puts me closer to Fiji, so we're going to take 1, 2, 3, 1, 5, 9. So... let's figure this out, man. I don't know, bloody... Okay. Right. Hmm. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3. Actually, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh, sorry, that's 10. Okay. We might see the maximum extent of our range being kinda like that, give or take. And I wish I had something else to really make this easier, but I'm kind of having to spitball here, due to the fact that we actually don't have anything to range out on, which is a shame. But still, not bad, not bad. But at least you can see here that if we actually occupy that position there, we do project a lot of control over the area. We'd be able to prevent a lot in that area itself. We'd be in a position where we could actually strike at the enemy there. Now, so that was the assessment there, roughly, of strength, obviously, and a quick idea of how we could actually deal with that. We've actually figured out our prime position there, Kidabutai. So if somebody could remember that for the future, so 1, 2, 3, 1, 5, 9, 1, 2, 3, 1, 6, 0. That's going to be our prime position and where we need to end up at. But what we need to bear in mind then is intention of the enemy. So what is the historical gamer's intention here? Now, we do have a number of theories, I suppose, that could be relevant. And it's hard to say exactly which one he could be going for. Is he trying to defend? Is he trying to delay me? Is he giving up? It's hard to say what his intentions are in the area. I think his intentions are in this area to actually probably, I'd say, slow me down in whatever way he probably could here at the 1 minute, at this moment in time, really. Because frankly, yeah. We'll assume the enemy's intention then is to delay us. Now, how does he delay us? Well, he has to make this costly. So he's going to transfer additional troops to the area to a degree. He's not going to go all out because at the end of the day, I don't think he believes he can actually hold the area. But I think he wants to obviously make it difficult for us. So we'll go with the idea that THG's intention in this area then is to delay us. And what happens if he moves to cut you off your line supply reinforcements? He's going to find that a little bit harder due to the fact that we are moving engineers to Tanawa. So once engineers are in place at Tanawa, we actually do build up a level 1 airfield there. We'll be able to actually base naval bombers there. And we are going to be basing eventually naval bombers at New Mare as well. So we are going to be ensuring the security of our supply lines using the naval bombers. I mean, he could try and cut it off, but the thing is, what can he really use to cut off? Because at the end of the day, should he have some kind of large movement, it's either going to be hit by naval bombers, or of course we will still have Kidabutai in the area that we can actually use to devastate him. So he's going to have a difficult time. We do have a number of garrisons in the area, which will give us a forewarning of what is to come. Obviously, we are going to be deploying H6K4s across the region to give us forewarning. I don't think he really has anything to actually cut our supply lines. I think he'd find it extremely difficult. He could potentially try to harass them, but I don't think he's going to be able to manage it. The thing is, it's like we aren't going to be moving the supply is really going to be under the cover of naval bombers. That's the idea. We'll have probably sufficient amounts of supply initially. I'm not saying it's enough supply. I'm just saying it's going to be enough initially to allow us to take these bases. Now, obviously, Fiji is probably garrisoned. We really don't have an idea of how much he actually has at Fiji nor Nadi. We don't know if he has anything at Noumea. We don't know if he's reinforced Noumea. We don't know what he's doing in New Caledonia at all. I'd imagine he's probably looking at reinforcing it with something at the very least. But of course, we do not have any information here. Of course, once we do draw closer to New Caledonia, we'll be able to run information gathering operations. But until that point, we really do not know at this moment in time. I mean, of course, we do have the option and the luxury of being able to divert additional troops. So, for example, I could actually bring, I don't know, something in the region of just under 3,000 troops to Noumea, or I could actually increase it by combining it with the Comac force and increase that number to something in the region of, like, well, as you can imagine. Yeah, I'd say in the region of potentially 4,000 to 5,000 troops. Yeah. So I'm going to say his actions here in this area are going to be to probably try and delay us, try to make it as difficult as possible for us. That's probably what we're going to be going for. Yes. We do have a prime position here to use against him, so that's going to be quite nice. We do have some choke points to use against him as well. Okay. Try and bloody find it now. What number did I say it was again? Actually, 123161 is actually in range of Suverenadi. I think that's what I was looking at. I'm not entirely sure. It was one of those anyhow. What number did I bloody say again? I should have wrote that down. Was it 123160? We'll just say 123159 then. Right, we'll say about that. Right. Let's take a look at this then. So Kidabutai will be moving down this path. So within range to actually support the operation here. Which is very handy. Right, so I think that's what we're going to do then. I think we need to assess this situation. I reckon the best course of action then is we head down south here. Yeah, we'll be able to cover the landing forces. We'll be actually... Yeah, I think this is going to work, because we'll be in a position here to cover the landing forces. We'll have these islands protect our left flank over here. Yeah, we'll be able to protect our western flank. Eastern flank is going to be open, but the thing is we'll have ample range here to ideally protect ourselves. And we'll have search planes that can be run from Funafuti to actually help ensure security here, which is quite nice. So yeah, I reckon we covered our left flank. The right flank's going to be open, but the thing is we'll be able to use that against him. We'll be able to cover our landed forces in here. Ideally then Kidabutai is going to remain out of sight of these islands, should he have any float planes here. So I think that works. What I'm going to do then is, how are these forces going to be moving? They're going to be moving like this, so they're all moving through this area. Okay. I suppose the question comes down to, do we... Well, we don't need Kidabutai to actually arrive there first, do we? Okay. Though it might be a good idea to actually have... I suppose it really depends on what sort of force we could see here challenging us. But what I'll do then is I'll actually have them move to Duff Island. Initially. From Duff Island will remain there for the time being. We'll allow our forces to actually catch up and then we'll move down. But we know where we're going to be heading here. So that's going to be awesome. Yeah, I think that's the best part. Yeah, I'd say that's the best way. I reckon that's going to be what we need, because at the end of the day, it gives us the ability to run reconnaissance, it gives us the ability to protect our landings, but not actually to necessarily give away the location of Kidabutai too quickly. It puts us in a prime position to actually shut down Fiji rather quickly. Yeah, I think that's what we're going to be going for. The battleship is going to be on the left side of the New Hebrides Islands, so obviously they'll be able to actually protect the landings more directly. These landing forces are going to be hitting Luganville and obviously down here at Comac, but Luganville, once Luganville is actually hit and taken, I can actually use that as a base of supply. Yeah, like an operation, like a staging port, staging base actually, because I can actually have some float planes actually sent over here to actually help enable our security, so that'd be quite good. I mean, I only need probably like one ship here, one ship's complement to actually take it. And then I can have the rest actually transferred to help out at New Mayable. We can see what the situation's like, or I could even have them diverted to take these other islands. That's going to be great. We'll have Coast Watchers then as well to try and inform us of anything to come. Okay. Right. What I'm going to do is... I think we need to really lock down Pico. What is the size of the port there? Size 2. I was wondering, really, is it worth it to try and head into the port of Pico? I think it could be potentially worthwhile. I'm not entirely sure how we'd pull this off, but we'll give it a go. Give it a go. I don't know whether... So I think what we need to do here, I've never done this actually before, but I know you can actually get submarines in here. Not entirely certain. I'll tell them to head into Pico then, I reckon. So what we'll do here then is... Remain on station. I'll put you on high threat tolerance, but we'll tell you to head in here. Now, I'll keep these submarines here in the area, but what I'll do is actually have them patrol around. I don't know. Maybe we try and do this. I think we'll see what happens. I'll try one submarine at first, and then we can see what the actual success is like. Because we generally do not know what's here, and I'm a little bit worried about mines and stuff like that. The port is only size 2, so the ships won't be protected, but the thing is, I don't want to throw everything into this immediately and unveil what I have here. He has no idea about my submarines here, so we'll keep that under wraps. Indeed. Okay. Right. I think we'll go with that. I think for the most part we're done here with the turn, to be honest. I don't think there's really anything else that we need to do here. Everything else is running along quite nicely. So what I'm going to do is call the stream to an end here, and I'm going to wait until THG gets back, and it gives us time to actually... If there's anything that needs to be done I've forgotten, then we'll be able to change it in between. But I'd like to thank you all so very much for watching, and do let me know what you think. I'd be very interested to know. But until next time, thank you and goodbye, my friends. Have a great evening, whenever you are, whatever you're doing. Goodbye for now.